All right. Hey, hey. Welcome back, guys. Hey, hey. All right. So let's get into this, shall we? All right. So, what are we starting out with for a shadow message? For me, the shadow messages are anything that maybe isn't in the forefront, but might behoove a character to, bring it out into the light. We can't see what's in our closet unless we, have a flashlight or have an overhead light to turn on. So, this is the moment to turn on the overhead light. We have a Two of Swords. There's something. Hey, hey, Em. Hi. Hi, Christy. Great to catch you guys. The Two of Swords says we got something blocked. Okay. So, with the kind of blocked energy, I don't know if our character realizes that what they are blocking could be impacting a third person. Hey, Shirley. So nice to see you. We got the King of Wands. Hold on. Ace of Pentacles, Ace of Wands, Five of Wands. The shadow message here is that somebody seems like they're intentionally blocking things, believing that they need to just move forward and like maybe they've got their heart set on success. And so they're blocking things like love. They could be blocking another person and insisting that, oh, I can move on from them. I'm going to put on my fancy expensive sunglasses. I'm going to get in my fancy expensive suit, my fancy expensive vehicle, and I'm just going to drive on forward into, the sunset. I'll have just some other different life. How come they're like trying to run away from the person that they're passionate from? And I feel like all their thoughts loop them back around. If we were going to use the analogy of this person who says, I'm blocking her, I'm getting in my car and driving away. Well, every time that he tries to drive away, it's like one of those dreams where you're driving down the highway and then somehow you get detoured and you go right back around. And there you are at the beginning again. And you're like, no, I mean, I'm leaving this. I'm not thinking about this anymore. I'm excited to go someplace else. And you drive, and then guess what? Your dream detours you back around. And he keeps coming back to the same point. But he's determined he's moving into a new future, new chapter. So the thing that's hidden is that him trying to block his emotions are not working. In fact, they're making it worse. The more determined he is to move on from something, the more he sees her face. The more he tries to put her in the rear view mirror, she's standing right in front of him again. Like, I honestly think he was so sure he could get over her so easily, and it's not working. It's tell me about the Five of Wands, because I feel like it's getting worse, not better. Three of Wands. The reality of, it's fine to have this vision, right? We all have a vision of what our life's going to be, where we're going to go, how it's going to be. But the reality is very different. The reality is not at all what he's imagining. He's thinking he can move on from this, put it in his past, forget all about her. And instead, it's still her that he seems to want. And now it becomes this, looking ahead to the reality of his future is, she's going to stay in my mind, but I'm never going to talk to her again. She's going to stay in my heart, but I'm never going to hear her voice again. This is not feeling so good after all. And I think that is what the reality is. The fantasy vision that he has is him looking good, smelling good, driving into the next chapter of his life as, somebody very successful, maybe a man of great wealth and power, probably somebody that turns a lot of heads, but he sees himself as a single independent, doing what he loves doing, moving forward. But the reality is quite a bit different. There's the reality of the future is I'm never going to see her again, except she dominates still my mind. So how does that work? Okay, blocking emotions and pretending that you're done and over somebody, you can lie all day long if you want to, but this storyline says, but it is still just a lie, and your heart knows better and your brain knows better. So your lips can lie all they want, but your heart isn't going to lie. So you may as well bring that to the surface. We have the Queen of Swords. Okay. Is this why they're doing this? they're blocking her because she expects a conversation, and they, for whatever reason, they don't want to have this conversation. There's some kind of truth. Did they reach a point where they needed to be upfront about what this is? I don't know. Let me ask. What is she more or less waiting on? Wheel of Fortune in the reverse. There's some bogged down energy with them being together. So he wants to move on. He doesn't want to have this conversation with her about why is it not the right time? Is this one of those situations where he simply has been saying, I'm not ready to be in a high level commitment. I'm supposed to be single, but then I met her and she's standing right there in front of me, like, we need to talk about why is something not moving forward. And he's like, not talking. I'm just going to disappear and I'll just forget all about her. But that's not working either. So now I understand why we have two people standing there in an umbrella fight, right? This is him and him fighting himself. I'm not ready to move forward with her. And I don't want to have the conversation that explains that. But I also can't move on from her. And I don't know how to handle that. So he's like, okay, gridlock. Let's see. I can see why this is what needs to be brought into the light. Hi, everybody. So great to see you all. Sorry, guys. We have a Five of Wands in the reverse. If he just maybe, I don't know why she's scary to him. But you notice that we've got all of these chess pieces on her skirt. That's the checkerboard or the chessboard. And she's like, the person who holds all the cards. Maybe he needs to quit thinking about it like that. Is he afraid of this? Because he's like, oh gosh, her expectation. Does he dodge anybody that he feels has like seniority over him somehow? Is he making her in his mind, is he making her into somebody who's more powerful than him? And he doesn't like that because then he feels like he's just a chess piece on her board. Does he have an issue with like perceived authority? She's not trying to be an authority here. He's the one who loves her. Or wants her, is passionate about her. So I'm not sure how that disempowers him, other than I think he does not like to feel like he wants somebody the way he wants her. I think that that's a real problem for him in this story. And if he could come to that conclusion, quit fighting what the obvious thing is and get some truth. You notice that we have the teapot of truth here with the Libra scales on it. He could be a Libra. He started out as a fire sign. Doesn't have to be. We also do have Aquarius, Taurus, Leo, and Scorpio here. That's about it for our majors. But I don't know. Maybe he needs to go talk to a therapist or a counselor to find the truth. Or maybe he knows. Maybe she already said something true to him. Like, I'm not sure where the hang up is. I only want to love you. I only wanted to give to you, like, and give equal. But maybe that whole concept of, oh, she's telling me I got to give equal. Maybe that's the part that he doesn't like anybody telling him what he's supposed to give. Maybe he twists words or something. This feels like, and it doesn't have to be a him, by the way, it's just that's what we had on the cards. But please know this could be same-sex couple, reverse gender roles. There's something here that I feel like he resents what he perceives as a loss of freedom, or anybody who sits there and tells him a truth about, like, I'm not sure why it's not a good time for us to like be in a connection. Or maybe she said, if you're not ready to move things forward with me, then we can't be in a connection. He's like, oh, so here she is giving ultimatums. Well, then screw that. I'll just leave. I keep feeling belligerence on this. Like, let me just see. Can we figure out where that comes from? Where's that vibe of you can't tell me anything coming from? An Ace of Wands. And there's that card. We had a storyline last night where that card came out. And it was like somebody who, they don't put themselves in their own position of power. They've scratched out their own face. Maybe their wants and wishes were never considered. Maybe that's why they're kind of ferociously not wanting anybody to tell them anything anymore, because once upon a time it was like no matter what they wanted, they got steamrolled over. Their identity didn't matter. Things were decided for them. And they haven't gotten over that. With the death card in the reverse, they definitely haven't gotten over that. It just seems like there's this pushback. Don't you tell me that I'm supposed to treat you a certain way. Don't you tell me that you're going to leave unless you get what you want. But I'm not sure what else a Queen of Swords is supposed to do. If they're not ready for a connection, then she moves on, right? She puts up a boundary. It's like, well, we're not moving forward with the Wheel of Fortune in the reverse, so I guess it's not time. So I guess there's no point in me trying to give if you're not ready to give also. If you don't want to reciprocate, then I guess the truth is you're not ready for this. And that pisses him off. She's kind of like, damned if she says anything, damned if she doesn't. This, again, feels like he's pissed off or still doesn't quite know what he wants, but is saying, I don't want anybody else to tell me what they want. Maybe because he's only just now found his own like way to choose anything at all for himself in his own life. And so he's still kind of like, I mean, this feels a little bit like somebody who's been too oppressed for too long, and then they finally get freedom, and then they just need to like run wild for a little bit, but they're still harboring something. The fact that they haven't transformed makes me feel like they're still acting like a teenager who had an oppressive like growing up, and they haven't realized that they're not a teenager beholden to an oppressive family that, you know, has too many rules and regulations for them. They don't have to fight against the man is what I'm trying to say here, but that's still where they're at in their mind. They got to heal from this. Also, she is a wish fulfillment for them. And even they resent that, it seems like. They even resent that. That's why, oh, I'll just bounce if she's going to tell me anything about what she needs. Because they hear it as she's, again, cracking the whip on over my head, telling me this is how I'm going to do things, just like somebody else used to tell me how I had to do things. And I just feel like this big blockage, because on one hand, he wants to be with her. On the other hand, he doesn't want her to tell him anything. Well, that would be a very difficult person to be in any kind of connection with, because you can't tell them anything. And they're not thinking about it from the opposite view and be like, but wait a second, in a relationship, we're both supposed to tell each other what we need. We're supposed to care about each other. We're supposed to, you know, without surrendering our personal identity, but still we're going to make, you know, accommodations for someone, and we want to see them happy. So we care about what they need. We ask them, what do you like? What do you need? What makes you happy? Because we want them, you know, somebody that we love to be happy. But I don't think he's there. I think instead he's the belligerent, stick it to the man, flip the bird and take off and have this dream that he's just going to go off into the sunset and nobody's going to tell him shit. The problem is you want her. You want her. So you can't have her be the villain and the person that you want and the man you're going to fight against. It doesn't work. You can't have it both ways. You got to sort your stuff out is what I think this is saying. Okay, so if they could bring that into the focal point, why am I blocking this? Let's change decks, actually. Universe, do you have a message? Do you have a message for him on why he's blocking that? Fear. The fear of getting into a connection, the fear of making a nest with somebody, the fear of that Six of Pentacles. We got Nine of Swords, Six of Pentacles. The fear of like having his wings clipped, the fear of him having one place that he calls home. That's scary to him. I don't want to have one place that I call home, because then I like have these responsibilities. Is that it? Did he have like a really unhappy, does home have a bad connotation for him? Does, you know, being in the nest, does that have a negative connotation? I don't know. Maybe he's just spoiled. We actually got the Nine of Cups. That doesn't look like somebody who was oppressed. That looks like somebody who's just like kind of a brat. We have a Queen of Swords, the Six of Cups. There she is again, The universe is like asking this person to think about, why are you afraid of being in this union? It's like it would make you happy. It's your Six of Cups. Hang on. So why are they afraid? Can they understand that bit? Three of Cups. Hang on. The Fool. Is this just, well, then if I'm in a relationship with somebody, then I don't have the freedom to maybe go meet somebody else. Well, then you don't really want this queen. You still want to keep your options open. Good for the queen for putting up a blockage. So this is ironic because the queen said, yeah, I don't think you are moving anything forward. I don't see you showing me that you know what you want. So obviously this isn't time. So I'm going to bounce. That's why they're pissed. Oh, this. Ooh, never mind. I'm going to keep it. I'm going to zip it. King of Wands. This boils down, I think, in this story. Okay, I could read it one other way now that we have that King of Wands. Either they have been scared of locking it down with one person because maybe they're worried, but what if she cheats on me? I can't handle the insult. I can't handle the stress and pressure of that. What if she meets somebody else? But I was looking at it like he doesn't want to lock it down with one person because there's all these other beautiful flowers out there. And he might want to take a leap of faith somewhere over there. But then she walked away from him. Did she just call his bluff? He thought he could basically keep his options open. She said, yeah, no, looks like you're not ready. And now he can't forget her. Is that really what this is? And he still resents or doesn't want to give up his freedom, but he can't get over her. What's going on for you? Are you meeting somebody else? Are you out there finding other people? Because it seems like she dominates your mind. We have the World card. He's telling himself he's going to. I'm going to go meet somebody else. But he's walking by himself. Knight of Wands in the reverse. You know what this is? This is like a player is pissed because he can't seem to play anymore. Not because he couldn't, but because he doesn't actually want to. And he's actually irritated. He's intentionally trying so hard to move on from her, but he doesn't want anybody but her. The player just got, like, they fell. They just caught feelings. And they are so determined not to catch feelings. Why are you so determined to be single? I mean, trust me, she's going to make sure that you ain't getting close to her again. So that's not going to be a problem on her side. But we've got the 10 of Swords and we've got that 8 of Pentacles. I feel like they made this little personal pledge to themselves that I'm going to only do what I want. My days of ever considering being in a romance where anybody could lay claim to me is over. I'm going to walk. I don't know why they keep seeing themselves as a King of Wands, though, but that won't give to anybody but themselves. I mean, maybe that's it. They said, I love my life. That's what I invest in. I'm not getting attached to anybody. My days of that are over. I still say supremely injured person. Some painful, raw ending, and that made them say, I'm never going to like give to another person. I'm definitely never going to do a long-term commitment again. I'm not ever going to, say the L word. But then they fell for her. And they're actually like mad that she's not going to stick around and mad that they can't move on from her and mad. I know they just seem like they're a hot mess in this. You can't be mad about everything. You can't have a temper tantrum. You can't have it both ways. I'm not going to give to anybody, but I want her. Bullshit. I know I'm mad she's walking away, but I don't want a real relationship with her. But I want one with her, but I just don't want it to be a real relationship. Okay, baby, you lost me. You lost me in this story. I don't get what you want. Other than I can see this character really needs to heal some wounds, which is what we saw. We already saw that. We've got somebody who has not taken time to like sleuth out their own thoughts, which is ironic only because they keep thinking I'm a King of Wands. But a King of Wands isn't usually in direct conflict with his own self. So he is not a King of Wands. He tells himself he is, but he's not. He's in conflict with who he is, what he wants. Okay, what's the best advice for this character then? Since he seems to be fighting everything. Uh, let's go with this deck. I was almost going to change oneness. He needs to get down with himself. He needs to figure out how he feels. He needs to find his um, Three of Pentacles. If he can find himself, his true self, not just lip service that I'm a king of wands, I'm going to do whatever I want all the time, but I'm going to be pissed over absolutely everything because I want stuff, but I won't let myself really acknowledge it. If he can get grounded in himself, me, myself, and I, what do I really want? Where are my fears coming from? Then he could actually start to have connections that he acknowledges he wants connections in his life. He doesn't actually just want to play the field. I think that that's the bottom line. I think that he wants connections. If he just wanted to play the field, this wouldn't even be a story, right? He wouldn't be in conflict. He'd be like, oh no, I just love the ladies. I just love, having a bunch of different, what's that song? Like a hose in different area codes. Like, sorry, I love music. I could care less whether the lyrics are, shady or insulting or not. I dig music. So you'll have to just roll with that and me. But I feel like if that's what he was into, he wouldn't be in conflict. But he wants the relationship that he keeps saying he doesn't want. If he can get at one with himself, I think that's the part that he will realize he's been lying about. Maybe he wants to have a connection. Oh, he wants a connection that he feels he could trust. Well, then, Harl, you got to be the person that you can trust. You got to be a trustworthy person. You are lying to yourself about what you want because you want a really strong bond. You want something so weird. He says he doesn't want a connection, but then it turns out he wants a connection where it's like somebody who's just like all about him, somebody that he says, I would never have to worry about this person leaving me. But he's the one not giving any of that. He's the one saying, well, I'm not sure. I might want to meet somebody else. I don't want to be beholden to a connection. I had said, is it possible that he's worried that she could meet somebody else other than him and then she wouldn't stay with him? If that deep fear is really what's at the foundation, and this is how he's acting out, he's basically saying, well, I'm not going to commit to anybody because deep down he's terrified somebody wouldn't really commit to him. He wants a really strong relationship, one he could count on for the rest of his life. Well, you probably can't have the thing that you won't be. You probably are not going to get somebody to stay with you like that when you wouldn't be that for them. You have to match them, which is the thing he's been fighting against all this time. Don't you tell me what I have to give, that I got to give you equal. Don't tell me that. Oh my gosh, this is the most just belligerent story I have ever seen. Everything you cannot talk to this person because everything they say is actually complete contradiction with what they want, with who they are, with what they're hoping for. They are a massive walking contradiction. What they want most of all is basically a straightforward, honest Queen of Swords, which is what they found, which is maybe why they can't get her off their mind, because she's the real deal that they've been looking for, even though they are fighting it tooth and nail. That's why they're in all this conflict. Okay, well, I hope that they work this out. I hope they sit down with themselves and have that come into Jesus moment. If they could draw this out into the light, maybe they would have a chance to actually look at this. But I mean, talk about a shadow side, right? It's hard. It's hard when the thing that we fight against is the thing we most want, but the thing we're so afraid doesn't exist. But then he knows he found it, but he just can't like wrap his head around that. So fighting it tooth and nail. All right, I'm going to leave that here. You guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me. Really good to see you. Dana, I know I was laughing too. I don't mean it in a mean-spirited way, but yes, it's, oh my gosh, this was a tough one to unpack. Decoded, so great to see you, honey. Hi, T-Baby. Miss So the Peaceful Observer, great to see you. Hey, EM. Janine L., great to see you tonight. Well, it's daytime for me, but good evening to you. Violet, great timing. Dawn, divine. I knew somebody would give me the lumberjack. Dawn, you're the one. I knew somebody was going to be like, "Wow, you chopping wood today, Kate?" I love it. It's so nice to be warm. Oh my gosh, I do love the flannels. Hi, Calm C. Lynn Whitney, great to catch you. Irene, thank you, honey. Right back to you. Bogdanka, shout out to you in Poland, my dear. Queen V, great to see you. Hi, Pia. Lalu, Nikki O. Caitlin B, thank you for being here, love. Michelle S, I'm glad you made it. Hey, Andrea likes music. I'm so glad you did. I know I don't usually come on to Tarot Dog earlier like this. Probably tonight at about 10, I'll do our standard little nighttime party for the Night Owl Club. Hi, Mon and Shima. Great to catch you, Shima. It's been a while since I said hi to you in a live. Timothy Gorman, hey, hey. Yes, it is cozy. Hi, Victoria. Hi, Lulu. Brian Van Winkle, always great to catch you. Annie S, I'm glad you like it. It's another one of my photos that I turned into a backdrop for me because I was in the mood for it too. And my flower picture, I was just so cold every time trying to dress for flowers backdrops. I was like, I can't do it. I gotta be able to wear warmer clothes. So I had to change the backdrop. Ciao, Gianna. Chrissy, so nice to see you, honey. All right, you guys, have a great afternoon. I will see you guys again probably late tonight. Araceli, hi. Hi, Courtney. Hey, hey. Thank you, guys. Peace and love. Nice to see you. All right, everybody. Lots of love. I'll see you again later tonight. Bye. Oh, and I'll probably see you for a collective over on the other channel too right now. Bye.